been scarred and I've been bruised. I have learned just what to do. I need to leave my past behind me. I need to look to the future. No matter what will come, no matter what I've done, I know just what to do. And that's all because of you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody that watched the introduction video, everybody that subscribed, everybody that liked it, and everybody that engaged on it. When I planned the YouTube channel and concepts around it, it was always just purely based on my observations, my experiences, my market research. It was always missing the element of the other voice, and when you came on board and you validated it and you affirmed it, it really told me that okay, the need is not hypothetical. So it's making me really excited to journey with you and be a part of your travel back to a place of being okay. My name is Ms Z Mavumengwana, if you missed the intro video, and I'm essentially the face behind these conversations and behind this channel. As promised in the intro video, I told you guys that I would bring you the first content video, which is what's childhood gotta do with it. And I'm very excited to bring this to you because I don't think we can ever talk about undoing the things that make us feel not okay if we don't sort of travel back to the place where we were all equally okay. And to me, this is my core belief, that we all start out being fundamentally really okay. And somewhere along the line, stuff happens, experiences happen, and we pick up stuff that is not okay, either in feelings, in experiences, whatever the case is. And if they happen frequently and they happen often, we start mistaking those not okay feelings and those not okay experiences for us not being okay. So I thought this is a really fantastic place to start if we ever going to talk about anything else, because essentially that's when development happens. Instantly as you're born, that's what you do. You continuously pick up information to make sense of the world, to make sense of who you are in the world, to make sense of yourself, of the people around you. And this is like a continuous, ongoing exercise throughout the course of development. So childhood accounts for a very huge part of that. Childhood is particularly important in it because of the context of a child. You know, we're still developing, but I think we've got better odds now of making sense of information because of our ability to integrate that information. But childhood is a phase of fragility where a lot of stuff that happens in childhood is actually most parental instructions, which are often undisputed, like you don't have a right to dispute parental instructions. You don't have alternatives but to listen to parental instructions. Most of them are just experiences and feelings, and we don't really have words because childhood has a part that is pre-verbal, you know, a part where you don't have vocabulary and cool words to describe what is happening to you, but it's happening nonetheless. What happened to those experiences that you couldn't term? How did they make you feel? And what did you decide when they were making you feel that way? You know, Dr. Richard Erskine has this cool concept that he normally refers to that he calls experiential conclusions. And I really like that word because it defines so much of how we make decisions out of awareness sometimes based on what we experienced and you don't remember making that decision. As a result, if you ask a lot of people, at what stage did you decide you're ugly? At what stage did you decide you're not creative? At what stage did you decide you're pretty? And you'll see that most of them were experiential conclusions. How a person was dismissive or embracing when they looked at you. How hard they screamed when they were reprimanding you. A beating you collected here and there. Most of them made you feel humiliated. Most of them made you feel rejected. Most of them made you feel scared and outcast. And from there you make a conclusion, maybe to have a better experience next time by deciding I'm not going to do that again. That's kind of not my thing. Or I get into trouble when I do X, Y, Z. And for the large part, we don't remember this. We don't remember thinking, to better the odds of me getting my way, let me be dutiful. To better the odds of me getting this and that, let me be quiet and helpful. Let me be invisible. Let me be this, let me be that. Or sometimes if it's a parental instruction, it's never really overt. Nobody's out here saying, don't be you. But you'll see when you choose your own outfit, maybe there's a bit of disapproval. When you attempt to make a drawing and it must go into the fridge, it doesn't really make it to the fridge. There's just a lot of things you don't get or you get that make you decide, oh, this is what this means, because that is what development is. It's interpreting what do things mean so you can exist in the world. But this is being decided by somebody that has very limited aptitude, very limited vocabulary. So the chances of them describing those experiences correctly is very limited. And this is why we have to go back when we now have the words as adults and almost go update the little one in you. Because their vocab is good and bad, pretty or ugly, yes and no. It doesn't extend a lot beyond that. So when they define things that happen to them, they use the vocab they've got. Is that good or bad? Is that person good or bad? Am I nice or am I not nice? Do you love me or do you not love me? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? But we know as adults, there is a wide range of words to define stuff that is happening, except for just good and bad, pretty and ugly, right and wrong. But children who made these decisions don't know that. And if you actually audit these decisions, it's also when most of us made a map. Because when you make a decision, it's to preempt the future. If you decide that is dangerous, it's to decide to not do it again. It's a decision that impacts your future. You're going to stay away from that thing. If you decide this is good, it's the stuff you are inclined towards because it's good and you're likely to gear towards that. So a decision impacts your future. Imagine an incorrect decision. Imagine a fundamentally flawed decision that you made when you weren't even your best self and you are continuing to make new conclusions based on that decision. A lot of people dress to suit the fact that they think my toes are ugly. They don't wear sandals, they don't wear this and this. A lot of people think I'm too this, so this is not my thing. A lot of people choose careers based on those conclusions. I'm this and I'm that, and therefore it makes better sense that I do that career. And you'll see that if you audit it, it was based on the map they got. And they got that map when they were a child, either from feedback, either from experiential conclusions, either from instructions, and they've computed somewhat of a solid guide of how to navigate life, forgetting that this guide was made by somebody that should not be making any guide. Children should not be making any guide, especially without the supervision of somebody that knows better. We're not all fortunate to have competent people steer you in the right direction, not deliberately, but because we're just coming from transgenerational issues of people that are absolutely doing their best, but not in the greatest of ways. So sometimes you don't have parents that have the foresight to train you adequately, for what lies ahead in life, because they're going through stuff as well. And you see that the minute we get to adulthood, we're stuffing a lot of things up. So that's how we got to picking this as a starting point. That at some point, you were just a baby. Everything was okay. How much did you collect that changed your mind about it, that made you believe that maybe I'm not? Because remember, if you cry often enough, and you said a lot of times, and you abused a lot of times, it's very hard to still keep the consistent belief that you're fine, because the feedback says you are not. People are hurting you, people are violating you, people are ignoring you, people are dismissing you, people aren't meeting your needs. It's very difficult to retain a concept of feeling okay, especially because the feelings you're going through are definitely not okay. So how then do you expect a child to consistently believe that there's nothing wrong with me? I'm worthy, I'm solid, I get attention, I get nurturing. Things that I need are directly met by having that need met. Not everybody has that. And it's not to say we are expecting perfect childhoods, but there's such a thing as good enough childhoods, although there isn't perfect. And I want to talk to the people who perhaps fall beneath the good enough standard of the quality of parenting they got or the quality of experiences they got. Because then as adults, they've got a beautiful opportunity to bring these things into awareness so that they can make a new decision. That's why I'm doing this video. To say, just because when you were 5 and somebody didn't adore your picture and you decided I'm not creative, you're old now. You know that could have meant 100 different things. And you may want to go back to how humiliating that was, how dismissive it was, and decide with adult logic that, hang on, what else could it mean except for I'm not creative? It could have meant the teacher was busy. It could have meant there were 20 other pictures and they had to choose one. It could have meant they're absent-minded. It could have meant they don't even like you. It could have meant a lot of things except for the conclusion you drew that I'm not creative. So adulting is you validating and invalidating those things. It's you giving new words and new information so you can make a new decision. You can't make a new decision if you're unaware of the old decision and its impact on your life. So this is a startup conversation for each person to go back to their own life narrative or life story and ask yourself. And it's difficult because they are unconscious, pre-verbal, and mostly forgotten. It can be hard to trace them back. And a good place to start may be define yourself to you. And with each conclusion you word and concept you use, ask yourself why. Who told you that? Define things you're good at and things you're not good at. And audit at what stage did I decide this? That's how you initiate self-insight. At face value, who are you? And you'll see people say, I'm kind, I'm honorable, I'm intelligent, I'm beautiful, all good and well. How do you know? And then it starts being vague because it's how do I know? Then it's back. I've been in enough classes that had good grades. That's how I decided I'm smart. It's the smile when my paper comes back. It's the star on my forehead. It's the picture that goes on the board. They choose mine. And I've had continuous feedback that I'm an intelligent person, which tells you that this came from an environment. Now think, what about the bad feedback that you got? What did you decide about that? Were you part of the in-group at school? Did mom attend to you often enough, or was she busy? And if she wasn't home in time, if she didn't check your homework, if she didn't do X, Y, Z, what did you conclude? I have to be independent. I have to count on myself. I have to do stuff on my own. And you get to audit the I'm so independent. When you're old, the refusing to delegate, the competing with people that aren't competing with you. And you'll see, I can trace this back to when I had to. And that's the magic word. Children are dependent on their environment for survival. They're dependent on the grown-ups for the map to navigate. And when that's missing, it falls on them to decide it. And children are young and naive and innocent. And the stuff that they decide isn't always correct. But here we are, adults, using our maps because at some point we had to. And this is the trick of adulting, to remind yourself that you no longer have to. And what was a response to a unique problem then won't necessarily work for new problems because it's not the same thing. What you used to deal with being bullied at school isn't going to work in the workplace. Sucking up to the bully is really protective, and buying them lunch and doing them homework, it increases, the odds of protection and you not being the target of their bullying. And that really works when you're small. If you take your lunch to the bully and they kind of just like you, but sucking up continuously, even when you are older, isn't really going to work in your favor. If you are in a hostile environment and being timid and invisible and just staying at the back of the lines protects you from the abuse, doing that in relationships is going to be a problem. Taking the backseat, being absent, and you're using the wrong tool for the wrong thing. You're not in that abusive situation. You're not dealing with that problem. Why are you responding to it with the same tool? To even validate that a lot of our feelings and a lot of our difficulties actually stem from childhood. See how they feel when we are triggered. You can sit in a boardroom with a authoritative boss and they raise their voice at you and you're 28 and you can feel tears welling up sitting here and you want to speak because the adult in you knows you can. And you can feel the words choking, refusing to come out. And the terror you feel is completely unjustified for the adult situation. You're sitting there not understanding, why are you scared? He's not going to do anything to you. Yet the child in you knows it's got this experience and how it feels and had a conclusion from it, that it's dangerous. And you can see the child in you retracting and protecting itself. Have you ever seen people that can't argue? When they're in an argument and the thing they want to say is right and they've got the facts and they know it's right, but they're arguing with somebody that speaks in a high voice and is very forthcoming and hostile, and you can see them doubting if the thing they thought is right. You know, and they just feel small. And these primal feelings are always an indication that, are you sure this isn't a childhood conclusion though? Because sometimes the response, I know for myself, I know by how intense a feeling is that I'm not responding from a very adult place. When it just doesn't match the situation and you're just sitting there terrified, although logically you know, but nothing's going to happen to you. Nothing's going to happen to you. And this is what I'm hoping this video will do to you. Bring into awareness stuff that may have possibly happened, so you can begin your own journey of auditing it and making new conclusions about it, so you can actually estimate a better future for yourself. And also because you can start owning the choice. Imagine this powerless feeling of engaging with life based on conclusions that you didn't even decide. You may even find that you're going to repeat those conclusions, that they find for you. I'm smart and I like that, and I'm going to continue acting like I'm smart. But it slaps different when it's a choice. You want it to be your choice. You want to make that decision yourself. And adulting and introspecting gives you that opportunity to bring these into awareness, validate, critique, unpack, understand, repeat, discard. So that you can autonomously choose. Even if you've decided to retain some of them, you chose to keep this trait as a part of who you are. And it opens an opportunity for relearning. Now learn new things. If you don't like the old things, learn new things. So that's what essentially this is meant to do, an introductory conversation starter within yourself. Trace it back. I was okay from this point, and then this happened, and then this happened. And to make it easy for yourself, perhaps just start with the most significant events. Death, trauma, a lot of changes, moving schools, whatever was so significant and life-changing. Maybe start there. What did that do to me? What did I decide about it? How did that decision impact my future? And when you see us next time, we'll be bringing you, when I say us, guys, I'm talking about me, the production team, the people that helped me put these products together. When you see me again, I will bring you almost an update on this, which is the dissonance of adulting. What is it about adult life that is so chaotic? Is it justified? What are we getting wrong? And if you've got this as a background, a whole lot of that video will start to make sense. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Again, a huge word of thanks to the people that instantly responded. I think in the future when we raise a cup for my day ones, we'll be talking about you guys, the absolute day ones. I really appreciate you validating it so that I can have the courage to continue, and I'll see you in the next one.